Section on page AyinBase 6.
The second section is
the line starts. It will start from the word line that begins with dehinay on the the Gemara is away from Kosher. And here went into a step deeper than normal. When we said that the oir is not a gilim in ho'etzim, and yet it qualifies to be called tzurah atzmus. In order to understand it, we ask a very fundamental question. How, in fact, does oir and gilui come from the atzmus? Atzmus is not, does not have that connection, that inclination at all for gilui. Does not any relation to the concept of gilui. It is a fundamental state of helem, so to speak. Like we say always from the Rambam, Motzu Rishon. So what should motivate Motzu Rishon to express itself? And in order to explain this, to begin to understand it, we go into emotion from the Nefesh. It says that we find the dehinay that we find similarities that also have a similar relationship. As for example, the nefesh, in its very essential being, the truth of the nefesh itself, it is not in the realm of being chayus l'hachiyos, of being chayus and giving life, bestowing life onto the body. A step further, deeper than that, the nefesh, in essence, is totally devoid. Mushlo means negated from the whole principle of chayes. This Ayin we discussed yesterday. And we will continue to discuss this. We have two distinct types of chayus. We have the animal world, it's also nefesh chaya, it's a living nefesh. And then we have the human being, it's also called nefesh chaya. The nefesh chaya of the animal, you can say l'havdil, nefesh chaya of the animal, the chayus consists in its sensitivities. In other words, the chayus there is totally reactive. He senses cold and hot. He senses pain. He senses whatever that satisfies it, and so forth. The chayus of the nefesh ha'adam is a proactive chayus. One way that we express the Inyan that it's a proactive chayus, that means he chooses to live. He wants to live. He's in this expression, he wants to live. This Inyan of wanting to live, this want, is an intangible element. There is no experience, there's no sensitivity involved in this. This one is pure for the union of chayas, whatever chayas is. The nefesh is a godly reality. And therefore the union of chayas, the union of sensitivity, the union of awareness is totally outside of its realm. Godliness means that it has the principle of motu rishon primarily in its makeup. And therefore, this is what we explained yesterday, mushlol hu legamri min hachayis. It's totally, mushla means negated, totally devoid of the whole Inyan Chayis. Is completely outside of the realm of called Chayis, of sensitivity. We discussed it yesterday, right?
I didn't copy, the animal, the reactive versus the proactive. How does the being, the wanting, the proactive, how does that mushal from Chayas? I didn't get that.
What? Okay, because we don't understand the influence. We discussed this. He knew that he wants to live. It's not because he doesn't want to die.
Right.
What right? What does that mean?
It means that because it's the godly will that's in him.
In other words, it's not the negative that he's trying to. So what's positive? What is he want? What does he want? He's not afraid of dying. So why does he want to live for? What's in this want to live?
Every etzem wants to basically put its truth everywhere.
No.
It's beyond safe.
We explained the whole thing yesterday. That the nefesh is completely devoid of gilui. Like etzem is not a gilui. Etzem is devoid of gilui. That's why the question is, how does it come to gilui? It's etzem. That which we said that it spread, that's already the answer. That's a much further level than the essential etzem itself. It's all recorded. I'm sorry. It's
okay.
It's right there.
Yep.
Ukiyodua, as is known, the etzem hanefesh, that the very essence of the nefesh, meaning not the etzem nefesh as the etzem nefesh is felt and experienced and sensitive, but the very essence of the nefesh itself. There is that inyan of essence in the nefesh which is not related to any kind of reaction, to any kind of feeling, any kind of sensitivity. Lemaila, that is completely above gam mebechinas yechidah shebenefesh. Even from the yechidah aspect of the nefesh. just briefly to focus in on this. No, I'm sorry, I missed, missed the whole thing. Yechidah means that it does not, yechidah, the word yechidah means unity. And a unity means that there is exclusively one point, one element. And this one element is focused on one thing. That's what yechidah. It's focused on one thing.
After that,
This means yechidah.
oh, this means yechidah.
If it's focused on one thing, which means that it does not have a periphery, it is only the truth of what it is. It does not have an environment in which it functions. With yechidah. And we're saying that the Etzem HaNefesh is beyond L'mayla gam b'chinas yechidah, is above even the mechina of yechidah. What can be above what means above the infinite? So in the terminology that we used just now, temporarily, yechidah means that its focus has a single focus, has no periphery. Etzem HaNefesh has no focus that it wants anything. Doesn't have any kind of an expression what it wants and what it is. The Ma'alim B'chinas Yechidah.
What is the link between proactive and that's I'll drop it. Okay.
No, I just wanted, I don't know if people caught it or not, the very last words, more or less, what we said yesterday. Shlomi Innocent.
Yeah.
The title of your caption is "The Soul Tells the Body." What does the soul tell the body?
What?
The soul tells the body.
Oh, the soul tells.
Yesterday, the soul tells the body.
That's your caption.
Yeah.
So I know that, you registered that. The soul does not tell the body you're alive, and you're sensitive, and you should want to eat. You should want all kinds of good things. The soul tells the body one thing. You are in duty to Hashem. That's what the soul tells the body.
And that's not
What?
That has nothing to do with Lahachiyas.
Nothing with Hayas. It's not even Chayas. It says, here is your duty.
Chayas is beyond an environmental level.
Chayas means I'm sensitive. Yeah, okay. I touch something, I have to be sensitive there. So doesn't say, this is not the message. Huh? Yeah. And this is what we're saying. The Etzem HaNefesh is above, even on B'chinas Yechidah Sheb'Nefesh. The Yisem of the Shrabba. As it's brought down in as it says in the Shrabba, Hey Shemus Nikru Lo. The Nefesh has being called with 5 names. And these 5 names are actually referring to 5 different aspects and different levels of the nefesh. And what are the 5 names? Nefesh, nefesh, ruach, neshama, chay, yechidah. It's called Ayin Chay. Hare, thus we see, yechidah hi bichlal shem as nefesh. That yechidah goes into the category among other names. It's in the level of being a name of the nefesh, not the etzem of the nefesh. So you see. A name really has to do with some kind of a function, some kind of a presence. We discussed lately about the names given to the human being, that is giving him a distinct presence. What has to do with the presence? It is not something which refers to him himself. The name is in a form welcoming him into the world, but that gives him a presence in the world. Huh. It is known the yechidah hu inyan, that what is yechidah? Hu inyan, this is the principle of k'mo ha'koiches ha'hiyulim ha'atzmiyim ha'klulim b'nefesh. Yechidah is a reference to the nefesh at the level when we say that the nefesh contains koiches, but not functioning koiches. It's able to do such and such, understand and know and sensitive and so forth. Hiyulim ha'atzmi. Hiyulim ha'atzmi means the essential element of koiches at the level of hiyuli. Hiyuli is very difficult to translate. We have already discussed hiyuli in the past. The simplest word we call it the potential, the possibility. Actually, potential is not even correct. The possibility of koiches yutim ha'atzmiyim, and the reason that they are there because this is etzem atzmiyim, koiches atzmiyim, ha'klulim b'nefesh, that are included in the nefesh. V'yetzem ha'nefesh, but this is yechidah. This is only the name of a nefesh. But the name of the nefesh at the highest level, referring to the nefesh at the level of what potential is there. But the etzem ha'nefesh, the very essence of the nefesh, mushlol gam mizeh, is devoid. Not only devoid, is actually unrelated to even to this.
Mushlo.
Shlila means negation.
Yeah, different from mufshat.
No, mufshat is something else. The etzem nefesh is mushlal gam mizeh, is totally beyond that. Cannot even relate to this. That's it, mushlal. Harei thus moved al hu mebchinas hagil l'gam. Thus, that means that the nefesh is distinct, is separate, above and beyond B'bchinas ha'gilui legamri, from the aspect of gilui altogether. Can't even relate to koiches hiyulim ha'atzmi. Therefore, the inyan from gilui is totally beyond the nefesh.
Good trip.
Yeah.
Bon voyage.
Sure status. It's hard to go on with. I'll skip in parentheses. This is of no use. So even though the nefesh is mushlal from gilui altogether and moved on, still we say that harei nimtza mimenu oir v'chayis. From the nefesh comes forth and finds a presence, oir v'chayis, the oir ha-nefesh and the chayis ha-nefesh. Even though the nefesh itself is totally devoid and above that whole thing.
What is the difference between mushlal and muvdal?
Mushlal is referring to a content. He does not have that content. Like he doesn't have the inyan hakoiches. There's no way he has a mushlal. He's devoid. Muvdal means that he is separated. It's not talking about the content. It's talking about
Relationship.
Right. So this is all in the attempt to bring out a motion, or a means by which we can come to understand the principle of how oir comes from atzmos. So we said as the first introduction, the first illustration, is from the nefesh. The nefesh is totally beyond gilui, and yet the chayes is nimshach for the nefesh. V'chein hu b'shemesh. The same is true in the sun. That is a little bit more more, so to speak, in line with our awareness. But then we'll have a chance to understand how the shemesh is viewed over here. The same is true in the shemesh. The esem hashemesh, with the essence of the shemesh, ein b'mitzius oir adai. The esem hashemesh is not in a state of a mitzius oir, in the presence of oir, of light, adayin, as yet. Meaning, it is above the inyan of a light. V'nimtzu mimenu oir. But from it comes oir. But it itself is not in a state of oir. How does oir come from the shemesh if it is not oir? That remains the perplexing question. Ukmoi, okay, here's another real difficult element from our perspective, from our experience. Eish hayisoidi. Eish hayisoidi means the fundamental element of fire. There are 4 elements, as it says in everything. Eish, Ruach, Mayim, and Ofer. These are called yechidah. These yechidah are not tangible presences. It is beyond presence. It is the foundation for presence. It's not a presence. Going back to what we are constantly quoting from the Rambam. The Rambam begins his sefer by saying, Yisoid ha-yisoidos. The foundation of all foundations is leidish yeshom motzurish. This motzurish element, as we discussed a long time ago, it's not a tangible knowledge. This is the yisoid, this is the foundation of all of everything, and all the chokhmas and everything, even of chokhmah. And thus, when you say Eish HaYisoidi, fire at the Yisoid level, and the fundamental level, is not fire. Einei Cham is not hot at all. The Einei Oir, and it's not light. The Imlei came, for if it were not so, if it did have heat, Hoyoseirev as Ho'elam, then it would burn up the world if it had heat. V'hoyamei balayla, and it would also illuminate and shine by night also. Therefore, we say the Eish HaYisoidi cannot be hot and cannot be light, because this would be the fundamental reality of Eish and Oir, and therefore to be present under all circumstances. Without the sun shining there. And yet still, this Eish HaYisoidi, which is not fire or light at all, from that comes forth the fire that shines and the fire that warms. Yet it itself is none of these. So in Mitzvah Hashem, we'll be a little bit more disposed, we'll discuss this. Now we'll have to interrupt. Okay, have a great day.
God,